Hello, and welcome to another episode of Lunenburg360. I'll be your host, Tom Alonzo, and today we'll be speaking with some special guests from the local Salvation Army Montechusett Corps. So stand by for that. Welcome back. And with us in the studio, we have two representatives from the local Montechusett Corps Salvation Army. Right next to me, we have Lynnette Valentine, who's a representative of the Salvation Army. And to my far right, we have Paul Gauvin, who's the chair of the advisory board of the Montechusett Corps Salvation Army. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For having
Good to have you on. Good to have you on Lunenburg360. So, tell us a little bit about the local chapter or the local corps of the Salvation Army.
Okay, well, the local Corps of Salvation Army covers a lot of the surrounding cities and towns. We cover Fitchburg, Leominster, Lunenburg, Ashburnham, Ashby, Westminster, and we have outreach programs going on in Gardner and Athol as well. So we do a lot in the local area to support the needs of the people in this region.
We have, obviously, most of us know the Salvation Army from the Red Kettle during Christmas time. And can you tell us some of the other events and other manners outside of Christmas that you help with the community and what types of assistance you give through your organization?
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm going to let Lynnette cover those things because she's a little bit better versed on that than I am.
Okay, thanks. Feeding the hungry is pretty much what we're known for, but keeping families together in their homes, bridging the gap between at-risk teens is another program that we offer. We do a summer fun program and an enrichment program. We also are collaborating with different agencies in helping needs of families in the area.
And if there's a disaster situation where there's a fire or people are homeless, we do a lot of support in that regard. We're usually right there with the first responders, helping them to get through the struggles that they have to face. So we'll provide coffee and food to fire people and other personnel that are there at the scene of a fire, for example, or any kind of a natural disaster that might affect. So I know back when Christina hit back in New Orleans, the Salvation Army was very, very much involved with that disaster and did a lot of work down in Louisiana to help not only the people of Louisiana but all of the southern part of our country. There was a lot of work that was done by the Salvation Army.
How many people work at the local corps, the Montechusett Corps, and that are employed specifically by the Salvation Army, and what is your extended volunteer organization like in the area?
Okay, we have 4 employees that are full-time employees. We have a Bridging the Gap director. We have a social worker. Myself, I'm the office manager, volunteer coordinator, and I work a lot with different agencies, again, in the area, schools, getting volunteers to come and help make the season happen. You know, behind the scene, there's a lot of hours that go unaccounted for, so the volunteering is something that we really do count on from the support of the community.
Right. We have a volunteer board that's made up of about 15 individuals right now who give up their time to help support the Salvation Army. We usually meet on a monthly basis to plan different activities and different things that need to be done. We do a lot, obviously, around the holiday time. We're not really that much involved with the kettles. The Army does a lot of that on their own. But we do a lot with the food drives that have been very successful. So we do a lot in that regard. The Army in general does a lot. You know, people know about the kettles, but they sometimes don't realize where it goes. We serviced over 300 families for Thanksgiving this year, giving them baskets of food and assistance that way. And then when Christmas came around, we did more than 300 food baskets, but in total we did over 1,000 gifts to students, to young people, to children. So we had 1,000 children that received gifts from the Salvation Army at Christmas time.
That's excellent. Providing all the services that you do, that you just described, obviously takes a good amount of money coming in, and obviously we know that from the boot drives and the kettle drives, how that comes in. But tell me some of the other events and some of the other fundraising mechanisms that the Army uses to get the funds to provide the services that you offer.
Okay. Well, that's one of the main reasons we're here this evening. We want to talk about an auction that's coming up. It's going to be held on Saturday, the 30th of April. We're going to be on the air from 10 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, a 4-hour stint of time, and we're expecting to have between 150 to 160 items that will be up for bid within that time frame. We will be grouping the items into different groups of smaller quantities each hour, and so you'll have an opportunity to bid on a different group of items at the 10 to 11 and 11 to 12 and so forth. And then we also have what we call a lightning round, and at the bottom of each hour, from, let's say, starting at 10 o'clock, at 10:25 to 10:35, for that 10-minute window, we'll have 5 or 6 items that will be up for bid for just 10 minutes. And we call it a lightning round because it goes on very quickly, and the bids happen very fast, and it makes it a fun way. And if you don't have time to sit around for an hour and be at your computer monitor to make bids, you can do it in that 10-minute window. And that's one thing I should mention, is that most of our bidding is done now by computers. Most people pre-register. They go on to our website, which is www.redkettle.com, and you should be able to see that email address on the bottom of your monitor. I think they're putting that in for us today, so you'll see that. And you can go online now and pre-register as a bidder. You'll get a unique bidding number that's yours alone. You can actually start bidding now on items if you so choose, or you can wait till the morning of the auction to start bidding at that time.
When is the latest somebody can pre-register to bid?
That morning, we'll be taking registrations throughout the morning. People can go on during the auction and register as we're active in the auction. So the last time you can register is when the auction ends at 2 o'clock.
Okay, so throughout the whole
Yes.
event, people can register online.
They can. Yep.
No bidding before you
No, they can
pre-register.
stop bidding on if there's a specific item that
No, before you pre-register. So you have to pre-register first,
you have
and
to
then
be
you can
registered
bid.
in order to bid.
Okay.
And the other thing that's people should know is we take bids in increments of $5. So you can't raise the bid by 50 cents, for example. It just isn't worthwhile doing that. So we do increments of $5, and it really moves things along better that way.
Excellent. Is there any mechanism for people who don't have computers?
Yes,
to
we're
bid?
going to have volunteers on site who will be answering the phone, and you can call in the phone number. Let me just get that over here 1 second so I can give you the right number.
As you find it, we'll be putting that on the screen.
Okay, it's 978-343-0834. That is actually the number for FATV in Fitchburg, and that's where we'll be broadcasting from. We'll be in the FATV studios on Kimball Street in Fitchburg running our auction, and we'll have a group of volunteers who will be there. And what will happen if you, again, don't have your own computer, you'll call in, they will be at a computer, and they will basically register you just as if you had done it on your own computer. So if you get a unique number, they'll tell you your number is whatever it might be, usually a 3 or 4 digit number. And then every time you call back in, you just say, my bidder number is 567, for example, and you say, I want to make a bid on whichever item you choose to increase your bid on, and that's how it's done. It's pretty simple.
Excellent. Is the schedule of the items as they come up, is that going to be predetermined? So if, like you said, some of the lightning rounds, will people be able to know that's when I have to pay attention for those 10 minutes? Are those going to be available, or are the lightning rounds going to be chosen at random?
We'll be grouping the items the Thursday night before the event. Challenging for us is the fact that a lot of people still make donations right up until we get to the auction. And we've had people show up during the auction to say, I want to put this item up for bid. So we try to do whatever we can to accommodate people. We'll group the items, but we really don't have a chance to get those groupings out in public ahead of time. We'll be doing a listing in the Fitchburg Sentinel and Enterprise on Friday, so people will be able to see all the items, but they probably will not be grouped in the final grouping at that point because of how things go. But they will be online, so you can go online and see the grouping, as of the 30th, the morning of the 30th. They will be grouped, and they will be able to be seen there. If you're calling in, it's a little bit more challenging to know when a particular item will be up for bid. That's just the way it's going to have to be this year.
Sure.
So it works out, but people who don't have computers, it's a little bit more challenging for them because they don't really see the items and they don't really know what's going on. But if there's a specific item that they see in the paper that they want to bid on, they can call, and the person on the phone will tell them, that item is still available, and the highest bid is XYZ, and you can increase it if you choose to.
How many items do you anticipate you'll be selling?
We're hoping to have about 160 items. We're actively soliciting items now. That's another reason why we wanted to get on your show, because not only we want people to get involved, but we do need more items now to put up for auction. And it can be anything. We've had lawyers donate, doing a will for someone, for example. We've had people, barbershops giving us gift certificates, beauty salon giving gift certificates. We've had restaurants, a lot of restaurant gift certificates we have, and things like that. So everything and anything is welcome. This year we'll be streaming this year we'll be streaming live on FATV. Well, streaming live will be done on the computer, though. You still need to have a computer to see the streaming. So, again, we're a little bit challenged this year. Frankly, in the past, we had another connection that we were on a radio station that made it easier for people who didn't have a computer to be involved. That connection didn't work out this year, so we're strictly going to be online on the FATV and on the computers. Okay. So if you're, if you're watching from your home and you don't have the access to a computer, you can see the items on your local access television network and watch it that way.
And of course, many people who aren't sitting in front of their televisions will have their smartphones that have internet connections, so you can certainly stream it there.
Exactly.
How will people, if you purchase items, what is the transaction after that? If on the winning bidders, how do they pay for the items? And how do they pick up the items?
Well, getting back to the actual way the system works is we have a computer system that runs the auction. That's why you need to get a bidder's number. It's a part of the computer program. And as the items on the particular hour ends, as the bidding ends on, let's say, the first group of items that we put up in the first hour, for example, at 10:59:59, the computer will shut the bidding off. No more bids will be accepted. The highest bidder on every item that was in that group will be notified on Monday. We don't try to do anything that over the weekend. It's just a lot of things that we have to get squared away. But on Monday we'll start emailing or calling people depending on the easiest way to reach them. And then they simply can come by to the Salvation Army headquarters on Water Street in Fitchburg and pick their items up. And this year they will be able to pay for the items with credit cards. In the past that was a challenge for us. We were not able to accept credit cards, which was a problem for some people who don't carry cash with them too often. So they'll be able to pay by cash, check, or credit card.
That's excellent. So the items that you're looking for, if there's people out there, and we encourage certainly our viewers who have items, businesses or individuals have items that they have that would be suitable for auction, how would they contact you to make them available?
Okay, we have our Salvation Army headquarters number is 978-342-3300, and if you get through the switchboard, it'll ask for your extension, and please ask for extension 105. That will connect you to Lynnette, and Lynnette might not be able to take the call right then and there, but she'll certainly get back to you within a day or so.
And again, we'll put that number on the screen.
And if people would like to have a larger item picked up, or they have a challenge getting it to us, please let us know, and we'll have someone come by and pick it up at their home.
It sounds like a big endeavor, putting this together, and I'm sure it is. Is this the first time you're doing this, or has this been done before?
We've done this for a number of years. We started about 20 years ago, and frankly, when we first started, it was strictly on the radio. And we started taking over for, I think it was the Hospital Guild that had been doing the auction on the radio. They decided to move to a golf tournament, and the time was available to do that. And the owner of the radio station at that time, the local radio station, was Frank Philippone. And Frank was a friend of mine in the Rotary Club, and we got talking about the Salvation Army, needing to do some more fundraising, and he suggested that we look into doing that. And so we started doing it on the radio. Then we were able to make the connection with FATV, and we started broadcasting a simulcast with them for a lot of years. And then we did it up until about 3 years ago. And that 3 years ago, the officers that were with us prior to Lynnette and our current major that's with us, they had some challenges that we just couldn't do the auction. So we had to let it go for a couple of years, but now we're bringing it back, and we're excited about doing that.
That sounds great. It sounds like a great opportunity for people to get involved both in providing auction items and also in bidding on them.
Yeah, we might want to go through some of the items that we've already gotten for the auction.
Sure.
We've got quite a few things that have already come in. We've got from Power Gravel and Stone a $250 gift certificate. They're the people who have a lot of the pavers that people use for sidewalks and driveways. So that's a really good item. We've again got a lot of restaurant gift certificates. We got several in the air area. We've got Lucia's, and I think it's
the downtown.
Downtown grouping. But
yes.
So who are the other two?
Lucia's and Tibos. We also went out today. We've got some Boston Bruins pictures from opening night 1915?
Well, actually, it was the Bruins' last game
Yes.
played at the old Boston Garden. So we have a picture that was taken that night, and it was from 1995, so it's quite a classic picture. We've got a couple things of the sports memorabilia. We also have a picture of the Patriots game that was in Sullivan Stadium before Gillette Stadium was built. So it was, I think, from the Snow Bowl, and that was a really nice sports picture. And as far as current things, we have a couple pairs of Red Sox tickets that'll be going up for auction. We have, let's see, a grill that's been donated by Overshawn Hardware. We have, again, a lot of gift certificates we mentioned. We have memberships in, like the YMCA, the Mount Wachusett, I think it's
the fitness center and the wellness center.
Community College.
And we have the New Hampshire Speedway tickets for one of the events. It's a $160 value. They're still coming in, but you know, we have some jewelry from.
Great Wolf has donated an overnight stay for a family up at the new water park in West Fitchburg, which has become a really popular thing. We have our Rotary meetings there every Tuesday, and I'm amazed at how many cars are there and where they're coming from. We see license plates from Georgia, from Connecticut, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine. They're coming from all over the country. It's become a real destination. So that's a great gift, and that's worth well over $250. Plus, they've given us some towels, I think.
Yeah, we got a Great Wolf bag and beach towels. So they're trying to make that a very fun event for a family who wins that one.
I think it's a family of 4, I believe.
Well, it certainly sounds like there's something for everybody in this arrangement.
Lancaster Golf gift certificate. If you're a golfer, you can get down there and practice hitting golf balls for a while.
Oh, at the driving range right here.
At the driving range in Lancaster, and then Hanush Jewelry is giving us some jewelry that'll be going up for the ladies. That Mother's Day is coming up. It might be a chance to get a nice piece of jewelry for your mother. Or your wife, if you're so inclined.
Or both?
Or both, yeah.
We even got Manilow's Canine Playground, Doggy Daycare, 3 days for Doggy Daycare, and we got some baskets for that came in today. Very nice baskets, $150 value. One for a cat, one for a dog. Just a lot of things are coming in and bringing the community together to make this event a success.
Are there any types of items that you're particularly looking for, or not looking for? If people are thinking, who are listening here, saying, "Oh, we'd like to offer this or offer this," are there things that are good for this kind of auction, or some things that are not good?
Well, imagination. Sitting around the table the other night, coming up with ideas. We're looking for maybe even with our local university possible. A child gets to sit on the bench with the baseball team. Using our imaginations, or when they're putting something together, that would be exclusive. You know what I mean? Like something fun.
I think Monty Tech has donated adult, the adult program, evening programs. They have different classes, so they've donated tuition to one of their adult programs. So an unusual type of item. We've got hair care baskets. That we got things that are not appropriate. Alcoholic beverages. The Salvation Army is really opposed to alcoholic beverages because they treat so many people who have difficulties with alcohol. So we really frown on having anything like that in our auction.
That sounds reasonable. Because it's going to be online, obviously people could bid from anywhere. Is there a problem with people bidding out of town? Will you ship items?
Not really. Frankly, I have a small business that I run, and we ship out UPS all the time, so we should be able to handle shipping the items. I don't think we have anything like a rocking chair that would be harder to ship, but most of the items we have are smaller, easily boxed. A lot of them are gift certificates, so it won't be that hard to do those type of things. But yes, we can handle shipping the majority of items that we have. I think we have a rug, an oriental rug from Acme Carpeting, which might be a little bit harder to ship. We'd find a way if we had to.
So, as people listen to this, beside getting the word out, I mean, how can they help? Is there any way they can help beyond what we've already said? Obviously, we want everybody to be pre-register and be bidding on items and get involved in the auction from a bidding standpoint. And then, of course, you can donate items or services or gift certificates. Are there any other ways that people can help?
There is. They can actually go to our Facebook page. We do have a Facebook. Like our page, subscribe to our page, and that's going to get us out there in the media more. The other thing would be to copy our event and share it with their friends online. The more we get the word out in the community, and it seems to be networking, is the best way. So I would encourage or challenge people to take that extra step, click it, send it off to a friend who sends it to a friend, to a mom in another state, and just really make it an enjoyable event.
And what is your Facebook page? How would they get to it? Is this one specific to the Montechusett Corps?
It's the Salvation Army Fitchburg.
Salvation Army Fitchburg. Again, we'll put that on the screen as well.
Perfect.
Yeah, I did want to mention, too, that we do have an unusual thing this year. We have a local personality who's going to be one of our hosts of the auction. Ben Parker, who's now with WBZ Radio out of Boston, is going to be one of our auction hosts this year. So we're happy to have Dave involved. Excuse me, Ben involved.
Ben involved,
but
yeah.
the Dave came to mind because Dave Rogers, who's somewhat of a novice or a wannabe auctioneer, let's say, because Dave's been involved with a lot of different auctions over the years, helping different charities. And Dave's an old friend of mine. We went to school together a million years ago. So Dave will be doing that. So, Dave's, we'll make it fun. And we try to make it fun throughout the morning. We do have different guests that'll come in, and we'll do quick interviews just to try to make it a little bit more interesting, so it's not just the constant reading of items throughout the morning, because it can get boring if you think of it in those terms. So we have the mayor of Fitchburg coming in. He'll be there for a while. We have people who are involved with doing some of the shows like you're doing tonight on the Fitchburg Access Television. So I think there's Alexander DiNatale who's going to be coming in, as well as I think her name is Sam. I'm not sure what Sam's last name is, but she has a show that she does on the FATV programs as well. And we'll be broadcasting on the Leominster Access Televisions. I don't know if we have anybody coming in from their area. We're still trying to work on getting other people to come. If you want to come down and be a guest, we'd love to have you.
Well, I may take you up on it. We'll have to see.
Great.
So what kind of, while the auction's going on, obviously they're not just going to be bidding and not just talking about the items, although I'm sure they will at some point. So when you talk about having these guests in, what are some of the things that they're going to be speaking about?
Well, obviously the political figures like the mayor will be talking about what's going on in the city of Fitchburg, and he's a relatively new mayor, so I'm sure he wants to talk about his vision of how he'd like to see the city move and what direction he'd like to see it go. So I'll talk a little bit about that. We don't want to take a lot of time, but we try to give them opportunity to talk a little bit about what's important to them. We're hoping to get newly elected state rep Stephen Hay to come in. I'm reaching out to him today and haven't heard back yet. That's, a lot of people have busy schedules, so they can't always make it. But we're hoping to have some of those people. I think one of the selectmen from Lunenburg is supposed to be coming in, I think Jamie Tolan. So Jamie's supposed to be there as well. And so we're trying to get a few people like that. And again, it's just to break up, hearing the same voices over and over throughout 4 hours can be trying for us and for the listening audience as well.
Well, sure. I think it's a great idea to either present local information and updates and meet some of the local celebrities, if you will, or figures. So I think all of those would be very helpful to people. So it provides a service to them while they're getting involved with the auction. So I think that's a great opportunity. Anything that the Army themselves will be presenting about the services they do? Is that part of the public service of the day?
Well, we spoke a little bit about some of the things that we do. We'll probably talk a little bit more about the Bridging the Gap program. It's a program that we're very proud of that's been becoming very, very successful. It's working with youthful offenders who have been in the court system that are having problems, dealing with things in their lives. And instead of getting into a real bad situation with the courts now referring these young people to us. We run a program for them that usually, I think, is 3 days a week. And they come for a couple hours a night, and it's a very structured program, and we help them to make better decisions, to look at the way their decision-making is happening now, understand that what they're doing is not productive, and that there are other ways to look at the situations in their life that they're facing and try to make better decisions. And the program has become very, very successful. We have an 85 to 87% success ratio, that meaning that the people who go through the program do not repeat and get back into trouble with the court systems in the future.
Excellent.
So it's become a really, really strong program.
From both of your perspectives, what are the challenges, the current challenges that the Salvation Army as an organization faces and the services you provide? And what are some things that we should know about as a Salvation Army that maybe we don't know about, or maybe we have wrong because we have a certain notion in our head about what work you do?
Basically, our main aim is to meet the needs of the people in the community, transform their lives where they no longer need the service. And what we see in the food pantry every day are the same people coming back. You know, in the community and the way everything is, it's tough times, and it's hit hard in Fitchburg, and we're here to help. So our goal is to get them to a point where that they can no longer have to rely on help. And by us being able to do the auction, that puts the money into our funding to help the people that really do need it, and it stays in our community, and that's most important. So we're asking the community to help us help the community, and together it works out pretty well.
Have your services been, or the demand on your services has been increasing?
Yes.
Yes, and well, you know, through the last slowdown, things really got bad, and you know, we've seen the economy start to come back, but there's still a lot of people out there that are hurting, and you know, not everyone is seeing the upturn in the economy. So there's a lot of need out there, and like Lynnette mentioned, one thing we always want to stress is that the money that comes into the Salvation stays locally here. It's not like a big organization where there's an executive who makes his hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. The highest paid person in the Salvation Army makes, I think, $50,000. It's not something you get into because you want to make a lot of money. It's something that you do because you love it, and it's a calling for the officers and the people at the Salvation Army.
So even though it's a national organization, really every corps is a grassroots organization.
Exactly.
At the heart.
Right, and we're part of a Massachusetts corps, and they're part of a regional corps. So they all, are coordinated together, but they all are independent in the sense that the money stays locally here, and it doesn't go to fund a big organization somewhere with a big high-rise building or whatever there might be, a big office. We don't have those type of things. It's all grassroots.
Well, I think that's all very important information for people who want to be involved and donate to such an organization as yours. I think a lot of people nowadays with charities definitely look at where the money is going, and the fact that it stays local, I think, is a critical component. So I appreciate you sharing that with you. And I want to thank both of you, both Paul and Lynnette, for joining us here. And I'd like to thank you also for giving the opportunity to help get the word out, because I think your organization does fabulous work.
Well, we also want to thank you for the opportunity to be here, and it's gives us the opportunity, obviously, to do what you're just explaining, to get the word out. But more importantly, people need to know what's going on with the Salvation Army and why we're out there. I know at Christmas time we did boot drives here in the center of Lunenburg, and some people sometimes get aggravated saying, "Well, I'm slowing me down. I can't get to where I need to go," and I wish they weren't there. But it really is a needed thing that we need to do in order to fund the things that we're trying to do for the community. And again, it's all the money is staying locally, helping your friends, your neighbors, people that you might not think about or see, but people that need your help. And that's one of the big things that the Salvation Army is all about. So that's why we're involved. I know a lot of the people who are involved on the board. Dave McDonald, one of the local people in Lunenburg here, was our Volunteer of the Year this year. Dave has been a supporter of the Salvation Army for many, many years, and for a number of years he would cook dinners for people at Christmas time and always ran the boot drives for us. So Dave was our Volunteer of the Year, and we're really grateful for all his time and effort that he puts out, because it is all volunteer work. Right. None of us. Lynnette is a person that's an employee of the Salvation Army. The rest of us are not.
So just as a final, just to talk about the auction one more time, because that's obviously the most pressing upcoming event. Just recap, it is happening on
Saturday, the 30th of April. We'll be on the air from 10 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll be streaming live on FATV, and you can watch it on your local television network. So I believe Lunenburg will have it on one of the channels that comes in from Leominster, and you'll be able to see the items that are going up for bid. You'll be able to see the current bids as they change, and so that's really important. But probably most important is that it's best to go in and pre-register before the day of the auction, because there'll be some volunteers registering that morning, but we have a limited number of people. And if, if they're overwhelmed,
Sure.
it could slow things down.
So-
So pre-registering is the best thing to do, and if you just go to www.redkettleauction.com,
Right.
it should be on your screen. That's the best way to register. You can register today. You don't have to wait till the day of the auction. You can, if you choose, register that morning, but it's best to pre-register, and if you look at some of the items, you can actually start bidding now.
Right. One thing I want to add, I was out with Dave McDonald today getting donations, and it was really neat to pull my phone out of the pocket, log on to www.redkettleauction.com, and while I'm standing in line, I'm looking at it and I'm seeing the items come up. So if you want to see a visual of what we have, and like gift certificate, you have relatives coming in and there's a hotel stay, take advantage of all of that. And it's nice because you can go in and you can keep looking and seeing the progress of the people that are helping the community.
Absolutely.
And it's just a neat tool to have. So if you have a smartphone or a phone that you can do that, I would suggest looking at it. I can't stress that it is actually a fun event. We are actually enjoying this and the giving back to the community. It's amazing.
Well, I would take this opportunity as the show is coming to a close that I would encourage everybody out there listening to please go to the URL, go to www.redkettleauction.com and pre-register. It's for a great cause. There are some great merchandise, great auction items up for bid. And the people of Lunenburg, through boot drives and every event, have been very generous in the past. I'm sure they will continue to be doing so now. And I do thank both Paul and Lynnette for joining us here for this episode of Lunenburg 360. So thank you very much and good luck with the auction.
Thank you.
Thank you.